welcome to today's episode of What I'm Watching. This is a reoccurring series here on my channel where I share different streaming selections over different streaming services with you. Today's selections can all be found on one service, and that is going to be Netflix. My first selection is going to be Power Rangers Once and Always. This movie is pure nostalgia. I am a 90s kid. I grew up watching Mighty Morphin. That is my favorite season of Power Rangers. I watched quite a few others, but Mighty Morphin's always going to be that nostalgic place for me. Now this story does pick up in pretty much current time, which means they bring in a character who is a child from a past Mighty Morphin member, Trini. They did her after a beautiful tribute and carried on her legacy with this storyline. Now I mentioned Mighty Morphin is my favorite. I've seen a few other things, but I never really put as much attention in them, invested as much. So this kind of surprised me when in this storyline, spoiler alert, Kat and Tommy have a child. But for me, it's going to be Tommy and Kimberly all the way, forever, no matter what. Sorry, just saying. Now this movie is going to pull at you, especially with the tributes at the end. Let's make things just a little bit happier with our next selection. Not that it's necessarily a happy storyline, but we're just going to pick things up a little bit. Still on Netflix, but it is going to be the movie Mother. Yes, I'm talking about the Jennifer Lopez movie. This one is going to be a simple action movie. The storyline is kind of simple. Honestly, for me, it felt like it was a little bit rushed. They just tried to get through it a little too fast. I'm used to seeing J-Lo's movies, you know, like or hate her, whatever your preference is. To me, this was not on her typical level. I will say I could have used more of the relationship dynamic. I felt like they barely touched the surface with that. I loved that this one had a Cuban aspect to it. They show a little bit of that. Again, keeping with it, felt like it was rushed. It was like they barely touched on things and you were moving on to something else, but I did like that aspect of the movie. I'm kind of curious to know, did they really film in Cuba or not? If you know the answer to that, please let me know down below. You know, I mentioned that it felt kind of rushed. That is especially true with the ending. I felt like the ending was a little too quick, a little too easy. It wasn't very exciting. You kind of got to the win a little bit too fast. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this movie. It was a one and done. I wouldn't care to rewatch it, but at least I can say I tried. We are up to our third and final selection of this video, and it is going to be the series Black Knight. Now this series for me is kind of an accumulation of a few things. Mad Max, The Hunger Games, X-Men, and The Barrier. Kind of think of all those little aspects, put them into one, and you have Black Knight. One thing about these dystopian type storylines is that they're not so far-fetched anymore. It seems like every day we get a little bit closer to that being reality rather than fantasy. This show really touches on the lengths that governments will go to be able to control the masses. So with that being said, you know there's going to be a twist here. Keep watching to the end of season 1 at least. I don't know if there's going to be another season, but keep watching. Watch the entire season, because when you get to the end, there's going to be a twist to it. I hope that out of these 3 selections, you can find something that will help you occupy your time or just give you a little bit of entertainment. If not, don't worry. I have a full playlist that I will link for you along with the last episode. That way you are sure to find something that will get you through your downtime.